Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. Back on Mars, back in Gale Crater, and we're looking at Sol 1443. This is the Gigapan. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I'll have links below for this. You can look at any of the sols or days on Mars that were taken by the Curiosity, and check out the images in a much nicer and more fun way. And you can really zoom in on these. Now the area we're looking at, particularly in this one, is just to the sort of left of the image here, okay, where you've got this sort of shape here, where it's been compiled, and we're looking just here. We'll also be looking up to the far right of the image as well, to have another look at what I recently published, which was the golden mask, okay. But first we're going to have a look at this, because this is really weird. I really don't know what to call this, and there's basically a whole bunch of structures in here that don't look just like normal rocks. Many, of course, 99.9% of them are, of course. And where is it? We're looking just here. Okay. Now, it's a bit confusing. Let your eyes get used to it. There's a lot of very, very strange debris that are lying around here. Some of it looks like twisted metal. Some of it looks like fragments of buildings, some of it looks like broken statues. There's all sorts of stuff, and this really caught my eye, this area, because of these structures. Look at this thing here. I really don't know what to make out of this. I really don't know what to call it, but what really interested me particularly was this thing in front here, with this straight rock at an angle here, and this rather strange thing sticking up, angled onto this rock. Now, I haven't done anything to this, obviously. This is as it comes. Now, I know that Neville T basically color corrects the images, and I think brightens them up a bit and cleans them up. He doesn't actually go in and actually edit the images per se. He kind of makes them into a panoramic and then equalizes the brightness and contrast, I think, just to make it look more even and clear, okay? But he doesn't go in and Photoshop any of the actual individual details. It's all done with an equalization sort of program. And there's some crazy stuff in here, and I've just noticed this thing. I mean, what the hell is this? Is that part of a statue with two eyes and a nose? What the hell is that? I mean, there's so much in here, it's really, really hard to get your head around. But this was what really got me interested, this thing here. And the fact that this pile of rocks here has what looks like kind of branches or some kind of metallic wreckage stuck in it and kind of encrusted into it. Now, this is supposedly mostly a mudstone. A lot of these layers are mudstone, formed by layers of sediment and clay in the lake bed, and then as it dried out, you've got these layers forming, and obviously they weathered and cracked over the years and are breaking up into little pieces, and you get some very, very odd looking shapes, and a lot of them look like animals and stuff, but of course they're not necessarily. Some of them may be, but I would say most of them aren't. But this thing here really got my attention. Now I'm going to show it to you in the folder I've got, so I'm going to minimize that because I've got some enhancements done here already. And here they are. All I've done is really clip the image out. Let me show you the enhanced clip. Now you can see all I've done here is really up the contrast a bit. So that it brings out the shadows and gives the shapes more form, so you can actually work out what shape they are more efficiently. Okay? And we have this thing. Now what the hell is this? It has a face on it, like a woman's face. It's green, and it seems to have legs coming off it. Now, I'm not saying this is a carving. I couldn't possibly tell you. It looks a bit like a carving, part of a broken monument or statue of some sort. But I actually think this is organic growth, because not only because of the colour and texture. If you look at the texture, you've got this kind of fluffy, mossy-like texture on here. It's kind of fuzzy, and it kind of looks out of focus, but I think the reason for that partly is because we have growth, and it's all over these rocks here. Up here, you've got this green And there's a lot of green in these images here, and there's also water melting off the rocks in the background. I'll show you that in a minute. But this to me looks like organic growth. These look like roots coming down here. They almost look like legs, but to me I think these are more likely to be roots. And this looks like some kind of very odd alien plant of some sort, and that just happens to look like a face here. I think that's just pareidolia. That's probably just a coincidence. I don't think it's a carving, but who knows? It could be a carved burial artifact or a tombstone, a very odd looking tombstone that's kind of heavily damaged, and there's stuff growing on it. Who knows? But it's very, very green, and this green has not been added to the image, okay? It looks green in the original image, and if you get the raw image and colour balance it, it goes green. So the green is there. The program has found the green in the image, okay? I haven't put it there. So answers on the postcard for this one, guys. That is very, very strange. I mean, the face kind of grabs your attention, but that may just be a coincidence that there happens to be what looks like two eyes, a nose and a mouth there with hair. I mean, it's very, very odd indeed. This is just getting crazier and crazier as we go along. And as for this thing, what the hell is all this? I mean, it looks almost like some kind of metallic debris from maybe a sunken ship or a vehicle of some sort that's wrecked, and it's kind of encrusted into this mudstone here. But these look like almost like branches sticking out here, or could this be some kind of huge chain or something? It's got a chain-like structure to it when you look at it here. They're almost like large links that have rusted together. Okay, very odd indeed. I really don't know what to call this. Let me show you a close-up of that. There we go. And all I've done here is increase the contrast, and you can really see these leg-like structures or roots coming down off this thing. Okay, but you get too close and it just kind of blurs out if you get too close. But the texture is also really, really odd, and this bright green, that looks to me like organic growth. And why shouldn't there be? I mean, there is a small amount of water in the area, not very much, and of course plants do not need oxygen. They use carbon dioxide mainly. So there we go. Right, let's go back to the Gigapan, and I'll show you one or two other things that I've touched on already recently in my previous video. So that was that area, and I'll just give you an idea of where to look for that. It's just near the top of this bit that's sticking up here, okay? Just in the centre of there. Now we're going to go over and have a look at this area, which is where the water is melting down off this rock face here, which looks like a kind of really strange kind of rock face, if you ask me, but there we go. And there's more greenery up here. If you look up here, there's loads of green on these rocks, as you can see here. See that? This looks like moss to me. And why the hell shouldn't it be? Because we have just here some stains in the sand here, where obviously the frost has collected on these rocks, and then it's melted as the sun's come up and heated them up, and it's run down these cracks and it's come straight down to here. Let's go full screen with that. Okay, and as if by magic, what's in between the two wet patches? There is a golden mask. And I've already done a video on this. I've done a very quick video on it, which is on my channel, which was my previous video, okay? And I've got enhancements already done of that, but also I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that there are some very odd structures in the sand here below it, almost as if there's something quite complicated buried just here. Now, of course, it may just be rocks buried here, but some of these things look very, very strange indeed, and there are lots of very oddly shaped fragments. Some of them may be parts of statues, but let me show you this up close. This is about as far, yeah, that won't go any closer. You have a nose, you have a mouth, and you have two eyes, and this is very, very shiny. Now bear in mind, this hasn't been enhanced much at all. This has just been cleaned up, okay, and colour balanced. So let's go back to my channel here, and I have it here. This is the previous video I did, Mars Golden Burial Mask, Valley of the Kings. Okay, I'm going to play that through. Now, if you haven't watched this, go back and watch it. It's less than 2 minutes long, this video. And this just shows you, all you have to do is select this area. I had a little tiny bit of Gaussian blur, and I colour corrected it, and I've enhanced the contrast there. And that's all I ever do really with these images, just to bring out the detail. This is very small, this object. I'd say this is only about 4 or 5 inches at the most, possibly smaller. So somewhere between 3 and 5 inches from here to here. Okay, so it's very small, but is probably part of a much larger buried artifact. But could just be an actual mask, but it may be part of a statue. So, and there are many, many statues lying on the surface, statue heads especially, and a lot of them seem to be buried right up to the chin, just like this guy. But it doesn't get any clearer if you get closer, because it's quite a way off from the rover, and is, when you see it in context, is quite small in the image. So, working out the actual size, by experience, I'd say it's only about 4 or 5 inches. It could be bigger, but it may well be smaller. It's hard to say exactly how far away this is. Okay, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But check this out. This is an awesome Gigapan, one of my favourites in recent times. There's some crazy stuff up here. A lot of it looks like it's part of a destroyed and dilapidated building or something. But there's some really crazy stuff, and some of these rocks seem to have arms sticking out with appendages like fingers. I mean, these may well be roots. They may well be metallic wreckage. There's some crazy stuff in here, and I've only really just started looking at this image, so do check it out. Thank you for thanks to Neville Thompson for putting this together. This makes our anomaly hunters' lives a lot easier and a lot quicker, and the results are better because they're clearer and easier to see. So thanks for watching, everybody. Do check out that Mars Golden burial mask video, and check out all my other similar videos. There's dozens and dozens now of carved artifacts and statues and statue heads, burial items, that kind of thing. We have things like tombs, we have things like coffins, we have burial areas with dilapidated buildings, we have statue heads of all different types. Some look Olmec in style, some look Egyptian in style, some look Babylonian in style, some even look kind of ancient Greek in style. We have all sorts here, and it may well be that not only were the Egyptians communicating with the Mayans, as has been recently proven due to the fact that we found hieroglyphics in Mayan in Egypt, but perhaps they were also communicating with the Martians. And maybe this would explain why many of these things look similar, and they have a similar style of art and burial style, funerary art. Okay, so do bear that in mind. It is a small possibility. Don't rule anything out when it comes to interplanetary exploration, because our very survival may depend on it one day. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.